Get my boots.
We want to grab it? Oh.
I think we're live. Are we live?
Hey.
Not sure if anyone's in here yet. Well, it says there's a few people in here. Hi, how's it going?
Working?
Well, while you guys think of something to ask us, I'm gonna go get my corner.
Without making this fall. You got it? We have our laptop currently set up on pillows, so it's a little wiggly.
Oh man, we were hustling last minute to try to find some some good lighting to set up, but I guess it doesn't really matter because the laptop camera's so crappy. Hope you guys don't mind.
Totally fine.
All right, here we are.
Yeah.
So this live stream is for, I'm not sure if I'm going to post it to our channel or not after this, but if I do, and you would like to participate in this live stream, the next time we do it, we do these once a month. It is for our patrons on Patreon as well as the channel members here on YouTube. So there'll be a link in the description where you can do that, and then you can participate in these chats the next time we do them. All right. Our goal here is just to do a bit of an impromptu Q&A. So any questions that you guys have, let them fly in the
let them fly.
Let them fly in the chat, and we'll be answering them. And also drinking whiskey.
Just a little bit.
Good morning.
Yay.
Hey, good morning to you. It's actually evening here, but we're in Vienna, Austria right now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, our videos are a little bit behind. We're about, right after this live stream, we're going to post our first video traveling to Turkey. And that's a bit far behind. We're actually trying to get a little bit more behind on our videos because that way when we go back home for the holidays, we won't have to film and feel pressured to film all that stuff.
Yeah, we can hang out with our families and not have to worry so much about it. But should we start?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Lonnie and Al.
Hi.
Good to hear from you guys. You're asking, Christmas is coming. Where will you be? So I guess we kind of just spoiled that. We'll be, well, so right now we're in Vienna. Then up next, we will go to Slovenia. I think we're going to do some road tripping. And then we'll go to Ireland. We'll start in Dublin. That's TBD.
Mm-hmm.
And then mid-December, we'll fly home. And we'll be home with our families in Missouri. And then not sure what, we'll be there for Christmas and then New Year's. Not sure. But we did just book flights from Honolulu to New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, we'll tell you guys because you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
You guys support us. And I got to tell you, it means a lot to us. The fact that you guys would consider us worthy of that is insane. So we'll tell you anything you guys want.
Yeah. Ask us anything. We'll tell you. We really appreciate it, though. But so that's the plan. So eventually we'll make, right after New Year's probably, we'll make our way to Honolulu. We'll be meeting up with the Way again. Ashley and I both have birthdays in early January, so we'll be spending our birthdays in Hawaii. We've never been to Hawaii. Hopefully you guys are excited to go there with us.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll be off to New Zealand, Australia, and who knows where else.
Mm-hmm. But we really want to do some Christmas markets, so that's why we're here in Vienna. We just came from Berlin, and we wanted to do the big Christmas market there, but our timing didn't really work out.
I messed up and looked.
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but yeah.
It was my fault. I booked the wrong dates. Our travels were to go to Slovenia first and then go up here to Vienna and then Berlin. We flip-flopped it last minute because flights from Turkey were way cheaper to go to Berlin. So we started there and I was like, that's fine. We'll just start with the Christmas markets there. Christmas markets don't start in Berlin until the end of November. So keep that in mind, kids, if you ever want to go.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think we have a couple of questions here.
Yeah.
If you guys have anything that's on your mind, any questions, any topics about YouTube or travels or...
We'll try to get to them all.
Yeah. So just put those in the chat and then we'll kind of go through them one at a time. So Paige says, hey guys, hi. Thanks for coming to the live stream.
Couple people.
Mark says, good morning.
Morning.
Oh yeah, I already read that. Michael Cook says, what is the country you always look forward to visiting?
Oh, there's a lot of those.
Well, is the question, which country do we really want to visit, or is it which country are we most excited when we visit it again?
Yeah.
I think that we love going to the UK.
Well, obviously, we go there all the time. We're going back. We were just there for a second. I guess we're not going. We're going to Ireland, not Northern Ireland. But just that whole area is just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's cold and gray most of the time.
And usually we don't really like that, but it's something about just the...
It just goes so well with the land there. Like,
Yeah, one of the first times.
coastlines and
The first time we went to the Lake District, we went to a cabin with a few of our friends. It was like 2 years ago, and we just kind of fell in love with England and with the UK in general at that time. And since then, we've spent a lot of time exploring the UK. But it was just nice. It was kind of winter. It was a little bit snowing outside. We were just sitting with a warm fire and drinking and hanging out and working, and it was just a lot of fun. And we really liked the food there.
Yeah.
And we didn't really realize England. We've heard that England and the UK just gets a bad rap for their food not being very good, but we've always kind of liked the food. So I don't know. It's just perfect for like winter weather, we think, and we love that. So
yeah, so we love going there. Also, we really enjoy Southeast Asia. Complete opposite, really hot all the time, but the food there is also delicious, and it's very affordable to travel, which is always pretty nice. But we love, I don't know, we love everywhere for different reasons, but
yeah, we found a reason to love every place that we've went. There are very few places that we've just been like, yeah, we just didn't connect with it.
yeah.
I mean, maybe Cambodia is probably the only one that we didn't really connect with. If I had to pick one.
Yeah, but there were parts of it that we really loved.
Yeah, once we got out of the big city, I think that was the problem. We're growing to really just not really like big cities that much. We like the smaller town vibe, and we like the nature and stuff like that.
For sure. All right.
Sorry, we're taking too long on the question.
So is it
Mark said good afternoon. Good afternoon instead of good morning, I guess.
Yeah. So is it
Marshy Yeti?
Or Mrs.
Well, something.
I don't know. Is there anywhere you really want to visit in 2019? Yes, New Zealand, Australia, me, South Africa. I'd also like to go to Egypt, maybe.
Yeah, or like Norway, Sweden, and Finland. We haven't spent too much time up there.
Yeah, I guess the extremes. We haven't gone really far north. We haven't gone really far south. So I guess we want to try that.
We really want to go to Antarctica. And I don't know if that's going to happen.
That is our secret dream. So stay tuned. We're really trying to make something work.
Yeah, it's a hard trip to make happen because it's so expensive. And of course, we could try to partner with a company or something, but there aren't that many companies that go down there, and it costs so much to do it. And it would probably be really hard to film because when we went to Alaska in the middle of winter, it was really hard to film because of the extreme temperatures. Everything went numb, and the camera was fogging up, and batteries would die in 2 seconds. Flying the drone was really hard there. So it's a challenge, but I kind of liked that about Alaska. It was a challenge.
But we'll see. That's our goal. Okay. Oh, you also were in Vienna in August. It is a very cool city. I think it's going to snow in a couple days, but I think it'll just make it more magical. Vidika asks, will you be interested to visit India? Yes, absolutely. I think we would. I think it would be a country where we'd probably avoid the cities because we've heard that the rural India is beautiful, and obviously the food, we'd love to do that. But it just hasn't worked. We were supposed to actually go recently with Nikita and Karina, but timing just didn't work out, so we didn't get to go. But I'm sure we will in the future. Luis asks, are you going to get a camper van in New Zealand? That's the plan. We really hope so. I think it'll work out. But we're still sorting out. We're very early stage planning, I guess. So we'll have to see.
Mark said, check out Maui and Kauai. That's in Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
Well, we haven't really planned the trip just yet. We haven't even bought that flight. We bought the flight from Hawaii over to
not to Hawaii.
Australia, but not the flight to Hawaii. So we're still figuring that out. But thanks for the tips. We will check it out.
Mr. Gann asks, hello, anywhere you've been that you would not want to go back to? I don't know that there's anywhere we wouldn't. There are places that we probably won't, just because there are so many other places we're interested in trying to get to. But like we were saying, like Cambodia and Cuba were just two hard countries for us.
Cuba's a good example. I probably wouldn't go back to Cuba as much as I loved all the scenery and the people that we were able to meet there were great. But it's a very interesting country because of their history. It made it difficult to really connect with the people and to connect with the culture. And there's a lot of haggling you have to do there.
There's just a lot working against an authentic experience, I guess.
Yeah, and you can kind of use the internet there, but when we were there, you had to get these special passes and go to certain places, and I'm not sure that it was completely legal. So it made it hard to keep up with YouTube while we were there. So we had to queue up videos, which is very hard for us to do. So there were just a lot of things kind of working against us. But we had a lot of fun there. In spite of all that.
Yeah.
But it's just the kind of place that it'd just be hard to go back to. So maybe we wouldn't do that.
On the complete opposite end, Prague was also a city that was probably one of the only European cities we've been to and didn't love it. It was very packed. I think maybe we talked about this in our last live chat, but I I feel like that's one we have to go back to and give it another chance because everyone loves Prague. But
yeah, I think it was just we went in the tourist high season, so it was just elbow to elbow. We also there's a city in Belgium called Bruges, and we went and visited that city. We didn't film it, but I'm glad we didn't film it because trying to film and dealing with a bunch of tourists is tough. And that city was just it was such a beautiful city, but it's so touristy. So you have to be able to just go there with that mindset, or go in the off season. I think is really the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So we try to do that these days. We tried to go to like if we ever go spend a lot of time in Italy, I think we're going to go in the off season. The weather might not be as good, but at least we don't have to deal with tourists.
Yeah, we've heard horror stories about how crazy Rome and everything gets. So we'll try to go in a shoulder season at least so that the weather's maybe not too terrible, but there are also 1,000 people every street block.
So a quick update for anyone who just came in. Just put whatever your question is or topic or anything you want to chat about or ask us in the chat over on the side and we'll get to it. We're just going to kind of go one at a time, but we're going to get to everything that's there. So say whatever you want there.
Yeah. Heather says internet connection is sucky. Just want to say hi. Hello.
Hi.
That's you went to or worked for went to New Zealand. It looks beautiful. Yeah, we can't wait for the views there. It's going to be
we've seen
amazing.
such insane photos and we know people from New Zealand that have told us all about it. So
yeah.
That's been high up on our bucket list for a long time, but it's expensive to travel to, and it's just really far away to travel to, and we're rarely in the area to do that. When we went to Southeast Asia, we were spending time in Southeast Asia, so we couldn't really think about going over there.
Yeah.
It's just a hard place to get to, but we're super excited to be going there.
It was definitely the most expensive plane tickets we've ever purchased.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Doing, I think it was like a Black Friday kind of deal, so it was about half the price of tickets we were seeing within the next 3 months. But it's gonna kill our wallet a little bit, but it's worth it. We can't wait for it.
Mm-hmm. So I see a few of you talking about the internet connection. Just let us know, anyone who's watching this, if you can hear and see us good, just say that in the chat, just so we know that there's not a problem on our end, because our internet seems pretty strong, but we're also in some back room in the house. So if it's crappy, we can go out closer to the router.
Yeah.
What's the next one? Oh wait, here. Oh, I'm in the UK near London. Always good to see you over here. Yeah, we love going there. Yeah, and we'll be back.
Yeah.
Believe us. Daniel says, greetings from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Hello. Having my morning beverage in my Endless Adventure mug. Oh, you got the mug.
Yay!
That's
We're
awesome.
so jealous. We want one of those.
Yeah, we've never actually seen the mug ourselves. It's just like a drop shipping
always been
thing.
on the road. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's cool. You're one of like 4 or 5 people who've ever bought the limited edition. And if we ever get to Winnipeg, we're gonna have to meet up with you so we can sign the mug or something like that. Then it'll truly be one of a kind.
That'd be great. Yeah, that'd be so fun.
Question: do any of your family members watch your vlogs on a regular basis? That's a good question. Some of them I know that they have in the past. My brother used to watch every video. I don't know if he still does.
Yeah,
Your mom
my mom
most of them.
watches. She goes through spurts where she'll watch them like nonstop, and I think catch up on a lot of them.
Yeah,
but
my dad watches some.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing because I don't think they're all that interested in travel. I think it's fun.
Or YouTube. I mean,
or
it's a little, some of them
YouTube,
just don't really use YouTube that much.
They follow us on like Instagram and Facebook though pretty regularly, so they see everything there. But I think it's a real time commitment, I guess, to keep up with us on YouTube.
Yeah, and a lot of them, they still watch TV, you know,
Yeah.
so for them to watch something on YouTube, like I had to show my dad how to do it. And the only way he'll do it is if I can put it on the TV,
Yeah.
which is cool because a lot of people watch us on the TV because we can see that in our stats. And a lot of the TVs have YouTube built in, which makes it so easy. But my dad still wasn't sure how to do it, so I had to show him how to find us, and now we just pop up when he loads YouTube. So that's made it a lot easier for us to watch him. For him to watch us.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't watch stuff on his computer screen or on his phone, you know.
No.
What's next?
Paige asks if we will be coming back to Boston anytime soon. I don't know necessarily soon. We'll probably come back through because it's a good stopover city when we're flying in and out of the States.
Mm-hmm.
But we just have some plans to be like far out of the country in the foreseeable future. So I don't know when we would, but we definitely need to come back in the fall. I feel like we thought we were going to be there in the prime of the fall season and get to experience the magicalness of the Northeast. Didn't quite work out. I think we were just a little bit too early, at least in the Boston area. It was actually really super hot in the high 80s or something like that. We'll be back though.
Yeah, there's a lot of. The U.S. is just so big. There's so
big.
many cities to see there. In Boston, we've been to before, and now we've been to it twice. So it's hard to prioritize a place that we've already been to a couple times. And we haven't really filmed in a lot of cities in the U.S. We usually stick to the coastal cities and Texas and stuff. So there's still a lot for us to see in the U.S.
One day.
And we really enjoyed our time in Boston, though. Boston is a really cool city.
Oh yeah. Oh, and so my brother actually lives out there now, or really close, in between Boston and Providence. And so it's a good excuse to go back. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
So that was Paige. Larry, where all are you going in Ireland when you visit? Good question.
Good question. I know that we will go to the cliffs of Moher. Damn it. We always say it wrong. Sorry. But we'll figure out how to pronounce it correctly.
Yeah. And definitely let us know, the best places that you think we should go. Because right now our plan is to fly into Dublin.
Yeah, we rented a car already. And a nice automatic. But it was very affordable.
Yeah, like $100 for a week.
In England, it's always so expensive. But yeah, like $100 USD for the week. And so then we can just kind of make our own plan. I think we're not going to we're going to have some definite points we want to hit. We really want to try to stay in a castle. I do. Yeah. So
we're going to basically drive out to the western coast and then just kind of make our way down the coast, I think, and see all the sights and nature and stuff.
Stay tuned. We might try to do a meetup in Dublin, maybe.
Yeah, so if any of you guys are in the Dublin area or close by, that's probably where we'll do our next meetup.
Yeah.
If we do it, I don't know. Meetups are hard to organize. It's hard to know where to do it at. And we don't know how many people are going to show up. So we don't know, should we have some kind of a ticket system?
Yeah, or like, do we rent out a space? Do we just have it in a pub? Do we have it, whatever. It's hard to know.
Yeah, so it's just it's kind of stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I just get nervous before the meetup.
You get nervous, thus the whiskey drinking. Yeah. It's easy to be on camera and to talk to you guys when it's just like a camera, but when you know that you guys are watching us live and you can't edit it out, it's a little more intimidating.
Yeah, we're used to being able to edit it later. So if we're vlogging and we say something stupid, we'll be like, we'll just cut that out.
All the time.
We're not as eloquent as we sometimes come off.
I'm very eloquent.
After we've been drinking, we get more eloquent until we get less eloquent.
I don't know.
All right. Anyways, Robert says, thanks for the question, Larry. Robert says, you're awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. My wife and I love your videos. Well, thank you very much.
Oh, and come to Canada. Toronto has great food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it. Trying. I don't know why it hasn't worked out. We wanted to come when the parks were free. I think it was last year. And we tried really hard to make it work, and it just didn't. But
and we've actually visited Canada before. We vlogged in Montreal. So if you go back and look at that video, you can see us in Montreal. But I've been to Canada before, so it's not like we've never been there. A lot of people think if we haven't filmed there, then we've never been there.
Yeah, but we haven't been to Toronto. That would be amazing.
Yeah, we haven't.
And I don't know if you guys know of the Delightful Travelers. They're a Canadian couple that we've traveled with on and off here and there. But they are up in Canada.
They're in Prince Edward Island.
Yeah, we really want to go up there. They have shown us some pictures, and we've seen some videos from up there. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful area.
So when we go to Canada, we're probably going to go to that area so we can stay with them and have some locals to show us around. But we are super excited to go up there. And we got a little taste of it when we went to the New England area, when we went up into Maine. And we just like that vibe. It's kind of like England a little bit.
Yeah.
You know? The weather is similar, and you have the rocky coast and all the lakes and stuff, and the ocean. It's pretty cool.
Love it.
Who's next? That was Robert. Sorry for having a complicated profile name. It's Mr. Shy Yeti, or just Paul.
Oh, dumb, Mr. Shy Yeti. Sorry about that.
It makes sense now. Alan says hi. Hi, Alan. How's it going? Thanks for supporting us. Appreciate it. This is cool to see all your guys' little badges next to your names.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I forgot that we uploaded little custom badges that you guys get. So if you don't know the way that works, if you support on YouTube, through the channel memberships, you get this little badge, and the longer you support, your badge kind of upgrades, so we can tell how long you've been a supporter, and it makes you stand out in the comments and all sorts of stuff. So it helps us prioritize to reply to you and stuff. It's pretty cool. So Loney says, we're having internet issues, but want to say hi and thanks for taking us along with you. Thank you so much for watching, and we see all your comments coming through on Instagram and YouTube. Yeah. Apologies, we can't always reply to it, but we do read all of the comments, so keep them coming. We appreciate it.
He says, Cambridge, where I live in the UK, is a tourist nightmare. Just like, oh yeah, yeah, I can imagine, but
yeah, it can be pretty rough. We always try to maintain a positive disposition. I always tell myself that
Well,
they're
it's popular for a reason, right? And
yeah.
like,
Well, they're those other people are there for the same reason I am.
yeah,
You know, so and it's my fault if we don't do it right. It's our fault because you can go there early, and if you just get your ass out of bed, which we're not very good at, then you can go any place without anybody there. Most places, if you go early, because the problem is people have tour buses that they go on, and the tour buses show up and then they just unload people. But like we went to Eltz Castle in Germany, which was like bucket list item for us.
yeah.
And we went there at 8 a.m. right when they opened. The tour buses we read, they didn't arrive till like 10 a.m. So we had a whole hour of the entire castle to ourselves, so we could take photos and just take our time with it. And usually we're all rushed and we're dealing with a bunch of people in the photos, and I have to Photoshop people out sometimes.
Yeah.
Man, it is so nice when it's hard to get up early, but when we do it, we never regret it.
No, oh no. And we recently just went to the Blue Mosque in Turkey and in Istanbul. And that was one where we got outside. We were like, we're gonna get there, we're gonna see it before the hordes get there. And then we had some fires to put out, and we got there like right in the thick of all the tours, and that was really unfortunate because then they were, you're like elbow to elbow.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still beautiful. It doesn't take away from the beauty of a place or
but you just have to get used to
history.
it. You have to accept that you're sharing it with a bunch of other people. They can be obnoxious. The best you can do is just don't be obnoxious like them. Don't try as hard as you can not to be the obnoxious tourist. That's what we try to do. And it can be tempting because everyone else around you is being obnoxious. But the more that everyone's nice and polite in those situations, the more everyone can enjoy.
Yeah.
So moving on, the Shy Yeti has another question. Have you done much travel in Italy? Venice is my favorite city, but I recommend going in March or November as it's warm, but not too busy and not too smelly. Well, that's good to know.
Well, yeah, definitely. We have not. We've only really been to Milan. We went there. It's been a couple of years.
Oh, we went to Cinque Terre.
Well, yeah, and then on our cruise, we did a couple like little pop-ins, but I'd say we really haven't done Italy properly at all.
Yeah, there's so much to see in Italy, and that's one place we're probably going to go there sometime next year and just spend a whole month there. Just probably get a car and drive around or scooters or something.
That would be my dream. That was what we were going to do this leg of the trip when we came back over to Europe just a couple months ago. I thought that's where we were going to be going, and then our plans got all flipped around. But that is definitely a country that we want to. I think it's just hard because we only have like a week or 2 weeks sometimes in between. We have like cities or countries that we really want to hit, and we set those up in advance, and then we try to fill in the gaps. And we don't want to do a disservice to Italy because I know there's a lot to do there. So
yeah, I think going in March is a good idea because that's what we were mentioning earlier. I would never go in June or July because I've heard horror stories, and I don't want to get a bad impression of Italy just because there are hordes of people there. I want to give it a proper chance. But that means maybe you don't go in like the best weather, but we're okay with that.
yeah.
What was next? Great Belgian restaurant in London yesterday. I really recommend it. It's called the Dovetail in Clerkenwell. I haven't heard of Clerkenwell or the Dovetail, but we'll definitely write it down and try to remember it because we're always on the lookout for good restaurants in London. Originally from Salisbury near Stonehenge. Oh yeah, we drove past Stonehenge once. It was funny. We were driving. We didn't really plan to stop at any sites. We were just driving out to Cornwall, and we were like, "Holy shit, there's Stonehenge!" It's so weird.
Like, little off in the distance.
Yeah, it's strange to just see a place that you've seen only ever in pictures and videos, and you're driving, and all of a sudden you see it, and you're like, "Oh."
Yeah.
It just doesn't look real because it looks so tiny. It was off in the distance.
I can't believe we haven't gone back. Actually.
Well, we haven't been in that part,
Yeah,
and we were just driving through. Caught us a little off guard, but next time we'll definitely stop at it.
Let's see. Joanne says, just became a member. Oh, thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you very much. It really, really helps us.
Yeah. So you and your family love to hear about your adventures. Glad you enjoyed UK. We always love the UK.
Yeah, the UK is great.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you enjoy watching us. Sometimes,
so
we're just two people bumbling around trying to figure it out as we go, and we try to be as smart as we can and educated as we can. We try to include facts in our videos and stuff like that, but inevitably we're just kind of discovering a place a lot of the times on camera for you guys. So it's really, and some of it's really off the cuff, so it really means a lot that you guys enjoy watching that, and that you don't just get fed up with us or annoyed. So appreciate it. Mr. Dan says, how detailed do you budget for locations or segments, and how hard is it to keep the budget? That's a really good question, and that's a question that we get a lot in the comments.
So we don't budget so well. I think we know now, just generally what, if a country's, I guess we kind of like in our minds say like this is an expensive country or somewhat inexpensive or like middle of the road. And then I think like if it were like Turkey, for example, we were able to do some things like pay for tours because it was more affordable to do so, whereas a more expensive city or country, we might just do on foot touring around or do like a food video or just do guided stuff on our own. So that's, I guess, how we kind of keep our budget in check. If we know that it's a really expensive place, we'll make sure to do a food video where we'll kind of go buck wild and we'll spend the money we need to like get the delicious meals and to try an authentic thing. But if we're not doing that, then we're eating in a lot, and we're staying in more affordable places, I guess, with Airbnb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. I mean, some people, we're not the people to watch to learn budgeting, that's for sure.
No.
Other people, that's their big focus. And for us, we never really wanted to be budget travelers or anything like that. It was like that when we started because that's what we were, and we kind of had to make money as we went. Now we're able to make a little bit of revenue from YouTube and from ads and all that stuff, which helps a lot. But it's still pretty challenging to balance it all. And we're just not really that good at budgeting. So ultimately, you got to kind of feel it out in the moment.
Yeah, I think we're more like, okay, we went out for 2 meals yesterday. So tomorrow we'll eat breakfast at home and we'll make we'll just get a coffee out or something like that. We try to like offset it like that, like kind of daily, like just to like a real flow, I guess. We don't really have like, this is the amount we can spend and this is it. But I think all the years of budget traveling have made us really good at being thrifty still. I mean, we still definitely, if we try to always look up a menu before we go to a restaurant, and we choose a lot based on the prices. If we do activities, we try to make sure they're free or low cost, or try to find some sort of like discount card or something like that. And we do a lot of like price comparisons between like trains or buses or flights, public transportation. We walk a lot of places to keep transportation costs down. We try to do buses and trains as often as we can.
So we basically just try to make good spending decisions, but we haven't really had the need to budget down. If you really want to learn about budgeting, you can type in the Budgeteers on YouTube. They're good ones to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what's next? Where are we? If you're new, if you just got here, we're just doing like a Q&A. So just leave us any question that you have in the chat on the side, and we'll get to it.
Take my sweater off. We've got like lights pointing on us. Sorry, guys. I have
it's a little hot in here.
It's just so hot.
Where are we? So that was Mr. Dan's question. Larry McCormick, Ireland, southwest, about 3 hours south of Cliffs of Moher is Killarney National Park. Take one of the buses around the Ring of Kerry and enjoy a few Irish coffees and some nice scenery.
That sounds lovely.
Very nicely stated recommendation.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I will be bookmarking that.
Yes. Sicily is really nice. That sounds great. Definitely on our list, but there are so many places to go to. I know that when we went to Greece, we had an insane time just traveling the islands around Greece. That was amazing. So that whole vibe in the Mediterranean is awesome. Moving on, Larry McCormick again. Oh, also Killarney Brewing Company has some great local microbrews. Yeah. Well, we love beer. So although we've been trying to drink less beer, I'm sure we've said that on the vlog before, but yeah, and that's why I'm drinking whiskey over here. It seems like it'd be bad to drink whiskey instead of beer, but it's so much lower calorie, and it can be cheaper depending on how you consume it.
The whiskey we're drinking was from Kentucky, but it was only like €9, €10. So we're being thrifty and healthier.
Yeah, less calories. That's what it's all about. Because if you drink like 6 beers in a night, it's so many calories. So we're trying to just cut back on that and carbs in general. But anyway, I don't know how I got sidetracked on that. But what do we got? Mr. 31. Hey guys, was in Pompeii recently. Got there early, but still crazy busy with tour parties. Maybe better if we had gone in the week.
Yeah, we heard our friend Paul from the Traveling Plat. He has a video where he went to Pompeii. And I think it was maybe even the video title was about like how crazy it was there. He said that it was really hard to appreciate it because there were so many people. And it was really unfortunate because it's an amazing place. We've never been and we'd love to go, but it's a real shame that sometimes the groups can really detract from your experience. You're in this amazing place where all this history has happened, and just like it's, I don't know.
And everyone's on bright colors and their cameras, and it kind of takes away from it.
Yeah,
but,
and I understand we're doing the the same thing. We have our cameras and we're trying to get the shots too. It's just just gotta figure it out.
That's why you have to you gotta just go early and go in the off season, and you just gotta engineer it. And it's worth doing it. It took us a long time to learn this lesson, but it's worth getting up early, engineering the trip to where you're not in the high season, going during the week instead of the weekend, just making sure that happens, because you're going to enjoy the place so much more if you have it to yourself, and it'll just be a more positive memory in your mind.
Yeah. So, Reese says, are there many countries in Europe you haven't been?
There are a few. We haven't been to Lithuania.
We haven't been to a lot of
We haven't been to Belarus,
European countries.
Moldova.
We haven't been to Portugal, which I can't believe.
Yeah. We went to Madeira. Does that count?
I mean, okay, I guess we did for like one day, but
we haven't been to Montenegro, Macedonia. We went to Croatia for a little bit, but we'd like to go back there.
Yeah, pretty much anywhere.
Bulgaria, we haven't been to.
No.
Yeah, so there's still quite a few.
Slovenia, but we're
Ukraine,
about to cross that out.
Yeah, there's still a lot to see. It's crazy. We feel like we've spent so much time in Europe, but there are just so many little countries. And the way the culture changes from country to country in Europe is insane.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what we really like about it, is that you can just hop a train and go to a different culture.
Yeah.
And you can kind of do that in Southeast Asia as well, which is kind of cool. And we really like that area too.
Yeah.
But in the U.S., it's not really like that. You got to drive a long time for it to feel like the culture's changed.
Yeah, it doesn't even change that.
No.
Okay, Daniel says, Sign dropping Magdavi bananas. If you visit, be warned, Winnipeg does get very cold in the winter. The coldest temperature I've ever experienced is -41. Oh my God.
That's cold.
Well, I think the coldest we've ever been in is when we were in Alaska. It was -6, I think.
Yeah.
And we went outside and our nose hairs froze. We had never experienced that.
Yeah, when you
before.
breathe in, you can feel the ice crystals
It turns
forming.
into ice crystals.
Creepy.
Oh my God, that was awful.
What we learned is that, and I always say this since we went to Alaska, is that when the temperature gets past freezing, lower than freezing, you almost don't notice it. It can drop 10 degrees, 20 degrees. You don't notice it because it's just so cold that it just, to your body, it just feels like cold.
Flash freeze and you're just like.
-41 you would probably feel, but I know that when it was like 32 or like 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and then it got down to 0, and I just didn't even really notice it. It was just so cold that it's just cold at that point. Although you do notice your nose hair start to freeze. That's when I'm like, okay, it's getting pretty cold out here. But that's too cold for us summer.
So Paul says, I stayed near the museum district in Vienna. Have you visited any museums on your trip? We have not. We just got in yesterday. So, and then today, it's Sunday and everything seems to be closed here. So we've just been working. We're actually with the Travel Beans. They're out there. You'll be seeing them in our videos. But we will be going out the next 2 days. We'll be going to Christmas market. We'll be doing a food tour and going on a couple other places. I don't know if we'll hit any museums this time around, but we're definitely excited to explore, to drink some Viennese coffee. Oh my gosh, and to eat all the food.
Yeah, and to be honest, we're not that big of museum people.
Yeah,
it depends on the subject matter of the museum.
We enjoy them, but you usually can't film in there, so it's hard for us to incorporate it into the video. And then usually they're expensive.
Yeah, and it just has to be something that we're interested in. If it's like archaeology stuff, that might be cool.
Yeah.
If it's just a bunch of paintings or something like that, depending on the period, we're probably not going to be that interested in that.
We can appreciate it, but we just don't.
Yeah, it really just depends. If it's an old ancient artifact, then we're much more interested, because then we can look at it and be like, holy cow, that's thousands of years old. And that gets us really excited. Lonnie and Al, again, we had a great time in New Zealand and Australia. We added Fiji to that trip and really enjoyed our time there.
Fiji would be cool.
Yeah,
and we can't wait. I can't believe we do Australia or New Zealand. It's finally, after 3 years, we'll be going. And I feel like there are too many things to do. I don't even know how we're gonna whittle it down or what we're gonna see, but I just know it's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. Everyone we've talked to loved it.
I think someone asked if we were going to rent a camper van down there. Did we miss that one? I think I saw
No.
that.
We were saying
mentioned
hopefully with Josh and Ashley from the Way Away. That's on our to-do list to like get all that sorted and everything.
Mr. Yeti again. Lisbon in Portugal is great. We've heard good things.
Mhm.
Portugal will be like Italy. I think we'll probably go there and spend quite a bit of time there. Just kind of driving around or something. We've really been digging renting cars. If we can find an affordable car to rent. Some countries it's very expensive.
Yeah.
But it allows you to just go wherever the hell you want to. And in a European country, the driving is so around the UK. If we have to drive 4 hours in one day, that's just no big deal for us because we've done so much road tripping in the US. And usually that gets you from, across the country in Europe. So we love driving.
Luis asks, do you learn?
Yeah.
Do you learn much about European history in the States? You do, but I feel like it's so general.
Yeah, and it really depends. I mean, we went to grade school in Missouri for the most part.
Oh, I did not.
Well, I did. I do mostly went to high school, I guess. There.
Yeah, I bounced around a lot. So I was in Texas for 3 years when I was I guess 4th through 6th grade. And so every year you have to do Texas history. I learned a lot about Texas. And then when I moved to Indiana and then on to Missouri, and then I started, got into broader history. But you'd be surprised, and maybe it's because also we weren't that interested in history when we were younger, so we didn't retain a lot of it.
It's
learn
just
the
a subject.
Stuff, but
it's a subject like anything else, and there's not a lot to relate it to because if you grow up in Germany, you can just take a trip over to France in a car whenever you want. You can hop a train over to England, But in the U.S., if you're in the middle of the country, you're not going anywhere. A lot of them to fly down to Florida takes a long time. They might go to the Caribbean and spend a lot of time there. But it's just not the same kind of mentality. You don't have as much of an incentive to learn about these other cultures because you're just so far removed from them and so far away from them.
Yeah.
So you do learn general history about all the world. You always have like a world geography and a world history class. Yeah. But it's not something you personally would want to retain, especially as a kid. You're just interested in other things.
I guess it's just, so far removed that there's nothing to latch onto there. You never experienced any of it. So it's hard to remember it, I guess, because it's to you, it's about all these foreign places. They all like Spain, France, Italy, England, whatever, Turkey, India, China, it's all the opposite side of the world to you and completely different, and you don't have things sort of to stick, I guess.
Yeah, it's a long ass flight to get over there, and a lot of our family, they just won't do it. Like, I want my dad to go to England or to Europe with me so bad, but he'll only go to the Caribbean for this. He's willing to fly.
Well, and it's hard in the States because we typically only get 2 weeks vacation for the entire year. So if you want to do a big international trip, that eats up every bit of your vacation time. And then you have to worry about, the jet lag and all that stuff. And it's very expensive. It's just really hard. And I think that's why so many people love road tripping and they just stay within the States or go to the Caribbean because it's the same time zone. It's a few-hour flight. It's a lot easier.
Yeah. But I will say that that's a big reason why we travel because we felt like when we grew up, we didn't really get to experience other cultures, and we didn't really learn about them that much, and we didn't really want to learn about them. But as we became adults, we moved from a small town to a bigger town, Nashville, Tennessee. Then we moved from there to an even bigger town, San Francisco, California, and we got exposed to so many cultures there. And then we traveled to France from there, and that was, I think someone even asked down here, what was the first country outside the U.S.? France was the first European country we went to. Or we went to England and then to France, and that kind of opened our eyes. So it was this progressive thing where we realized that there's this whole world out there, and it was only something we could really, adults, and really develop this desire to travel, and we're introduced to other cultures, because as kids, we just weren't.
Yeah.
And that's part of it, is just because we're from the middle of the U.S. When you're on the coast, it's easier to get to experience other cultures, especially if you're in like Florida or something, you're experiencing a lot of different cultures, California, New York.
Yeah, the coastal areas, you experience a lot more.
Yeah, but anyways, long story short, we didn't get to learn that much, and that's why we try to learn as much as we can now.
Yeah. Mark Tony says hi. Mark Lindo, I guess from England. Mark Tony Lindo, sorry. From England, we visit Russia. I was there last year, very beautiful. we would love to. We keep trying to. We were actually, that was another place we were supposed to go with Nikita and Karina, because Nikita is from Russia, and so he was going to, I guess, help us with the visa process. He was going to be like a person who invites us. But we're never home in the U.S. long enough to send off our passports.
Because you have to send it off to get the visa added to the passport.
Right.
And there's only certain places you can do that in the U.S. It's expensive to do it. It was going to cost us hundreds of dollars.
I think like $1,000, $1,000 for
the because of all the fees and stuff. And when we added it up, we were just like, I don't know how we can make this work. As much as we want to go to Russia, it's just hard. It's been hard to make it work. So that's the reason why we haven't gone. But it's been very high on our list of places we want to go, and we've tried to make it work, but it just hasn't fit in yet. But we will definitely prioritize it at some point. There's no way we're just not going to go there.
Yeah.
Louise says, if you like ancient stuff, the ruins in Malta are really interesting.
I imagine.
That sounds
would
awesome.
Be wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, we love ruins. We went to the ancient city Thera on Santorini, and that was so cool. And it's just a bunch of rocks and stones and stuff that are kind of in shapes of old buildings. And there's something about just being in a place that is so old and thinking that there was a civilization there, that people were living there, and now it's just rocks.
It's so fascinating.
It's just a fun thing to be in a place like that has so much geological history, But anyways, we'll check it out. Paul again says, yes, we arrived in Vienna on Sunday and found the same as you. Not much was open. Can't wait to see those new videos. I record a podcast, and when I'm traveling, I do travel.
Nice. We were just talking about podcasts earlier. I think we did one with our friends from Keening It, Craig and Amy. And I think it'll be coming out. We did it a while ago, but I think they're starting to launch their stuff. So podcasts can be really fun. It's nice that you can just be in your pajamas, kind of like I am right now, and still like have a fun conversation.
Yeah, we are kind of jealous of people who can just sit and talk for a while and then they're done. Because for us, we have to go out and the whole day it's devoted to the video. And of course, we love doing it, but it's a lot of work, you guys. It is a lot of work. What's the next one?
We answered this.
Well, we didn't really answer that one. That was the France and England were the first countries in Europe we went to, if you consider England Europe. But what was the first country outside of the U.S. that you went to? We went to Bahamas, right?
Yeah, well, I had been to Mexico, I guess.
Yeah. So she had been to Mexico when she was younger, and we both went for our honeymoon to the Bahamas in 2008.
Yeah.
And that was the first time we left the country.
Yeah, but it was to like a resort, and we didn't leave the resort, so.
Yeah. So we didn't start traveling until 2015.
Right.
So like 7 years later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is nuts.
Michael says, are your family supportive of your adventures, or is it damn hard being away from them months on end?
No, I think they're supportive. I think that most of them have never been out of the country, so I think it's hard for them to wrap their heads around what we're doing and what we're actually seeing and experiencing, because like we said earlier, like growing up, you have nothing to reference. It's just so foreign that it's almost like impossible to relate to. So I think that's why sometimes they don't watch all of our episodes or something like that, because I think it's just too far removed from their daily life. But they are very supportive. I know they think they like hearing, the stories and seeing the photos and watching videos when they do. And then is it hard to be away from them? Not really. I think we were lucky that we had been living in San Francisco before we started traveling, because we had already been used to being far away from our parents and our siblings and all that, because traveling in the U.S. is very expensive. So we would only go home typically in the holidays, and then usually maybe one other time in the year. So we'd see them maybe twice a year. And that was just our parents. Like sometimes we'd see our siblings. So sometimes we'd only see family members like once a year. Now that we're traveling full time, we actually see them a lot more. I'd say probably at least 3 to 4 times a year we're back visiting our relatives.
Yeah, because now there's since we travel all the time, it makes sense to just incorporate going back home. Plus, we like going back to the U.S. anyway, and the only place we don't have a home there, so we just go back to Missouri where our family is, or we go back to Texas where we have friends there and stuff.
Yeah, so we go through a lot more, and so it's we were used to not seeing them. It was hard at first when we first moved to San Francisco. It was really hard for the first year, definitely, I really felt it because I was really close to my family, all my siblings,
Mhm.
and they had all just started having, my sisters were having kids, and it was hard to be away from that because I was so used to being in their lives. But now that we've been gone for a while, it's definitely a lot easier.
Mark says, thank you. Well, thank you for supporting us and for coming to the live stream. We really appreciate it. Michael says, how did you both meet? Did you both have a love for travel and adventure? And whose idea was it to do an endless adventure? That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Well, we both met in high school when we were like 17, I think.
Yeah, like 16.
16. Well, I was 17, I think. But, and then we ended up getting married. I think I was 20 or something.
You were 21.
21, yeah. And then we didn't really have a love for travel or anything like that. I think we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do with our lives.
I think we both enjoyed adventure a lot, but that had nothing to do with travel. I think we were just known in our families probably as like the more like goofy couple. Like
Yeah,
we were always doing.
We moved away.
Yeah,
you know,
we moved away.
Not everyone in our family moved away. So I think that it was because we're glad we moved, because that's what kind of opened our eyes. Because I was a very picky eater back then. We had very more closed off ideals, I think, that were just kind of instilled in us from our upbringing. So when we moved to Tennessee, which I mentioned earlier, it was a much bigger city. We moved to Nashville, and we had a much bigger influence from other cultures and other people. And we went to school there. We ended up really figuring out that we loved each other then, and then getting married there, and just becoming a very solid unit together. And part of that is that we figured out who we were, the people we were together.
Yeah.
You know, that formed together. So a lot of our ideals are very similar about our taste in music, our taste in art, our taste in movies, our taste in other people, our inside jokes. We have inside jokes from 10 years ago, you know, so we built that all together, and it was rocky at first because we were young and figuring out who we were, but now it's extremely solid because of all that.
Yeah, I think we really lucked out with that. Some people grow apart, and I think we just grew more and more together.
Yeah, and then we both we knew that moving to Nashville had been a very good thing for us. So then we moved to California, and that ended up being a very, very good thing because we were exposed to a much broader professional life.
Yeah.
We kind of developed careers there. We interacted with people from so many other cultures because we were in kind of the startup world in California. Tons of different cultures.
Plus, a coastal city, you know, more people are coming in and out of there. You meet all sorts of different types of people.
Yeah, and different foods, right?
Yeah, cuisine and everything.
Yeah, and I opened my mind. I was just like, I'm so tired of being picky. Okay, and now you guys might know there are some things I just don't eat, like onions or cilantro or cucumbers. There's a few things, but I got to tell you, that list when I was younger was like 50 things.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
I didn't eat nuts. I didn't eat strawberries. I didn't eat lettuce. I'd never had a salad before. I mean, so many things.
Green beans,
I wouldn't eat.
A real green bean, only canned. It was
so to do, and I think part of that was moving to California and just being exposed to all these different types of foods. And we were eating, you know, Indian food and Asian cuisines.
Yeah, like a lot of Thai and sushi. He finally tried for the first time there.
But then eventually, what happened? Just making sure that I'm answering the right question. So how do we develop the love for travel? So long story short, we ended up doing French lessons for 8 months in San Francisco, just on a whim, just something I wanted to do, just because I always wanted to learn another language. So we did 8 months of French with the intent of going to France to kind of practice it or see what it's like or something. So that was really what started it. We took the French classes, and then we went to England to see my friend Nikita, who lived there at the time, and then we went to France from there. And got to experience that culture, and that kind of blew our mind. I remember walking out of the train station when we got to France, and I was just like, "This is insane." It was like a different planet. The way they spoke, you know, the customs, the way the buildings looked, the vibe of it, everything was just so different. It blew my mind that it could be that different.
Right.
And that was just France.
Sure.
You know, there are cultures that are so much more different you would consider than the U.S. than that we've experienced at this point. But it just kind of opened our eyes. So from that point, we were like, okay, we need to travel more, I think.
Yeah, it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah. And there's a bit more facets to the story, but I want to move on to the next question. But that was a really good question.
Yeah, thank you.
One last question from Daniel. Do you have troubles getting a good night's sleep, sleeping in new beds, constantly switching every fourth day or so?
Sometimes, yes. Most of the time, I think we've gotten really used to it. We're really good at just like making it work.
I would say once every 7 days I have a bad night's sleep.
Yeah, I feel like
Kinda
now I think we're just constantly on the move, so we're pretty tired by the end of the day. So that helps.
Yeah, we're just used to everything now. Like there's been a few places recently where people were partying outside, or there was a constant noise, or all kinds of little things. You know, a bar in the bed, and we just kind of are so used to it that I'm just so tired. I just can't care. I'm like, I don't care about whatever it is. I need to sleep. You know.
So our brains luckily have like figured out like, if you do not get sleep, tomorrow's going to be so terrible. So just suck it up and go to bed.
Yeah.
We do definitely though. Switching time zones, you guys probably know we're really big babies when it comes to that, and we're really bad at it.
Yeah.
That can kind of screw us up for a little bit. But yeah, I'd say for the most part, I'm pretty impressed actually that we usually don't have that much trouble.
Yeah, but if you're a picky sleeper, traveling like we do can be pretty hard. We've never really been picky sleepers.
No, but that's why I like Airbnb so much, is because typically they're wanting good reviews, and if you pick places based on good reviews, you can search out things like in comments, like specifically like their beds are really firm or they're really soft or they have nice pillows or sheets or whatever, and you can kind of guarantee that you're going to get a better night's sleep than you would maybe at a hotel or couch surfing or a hostel or something like that. Yeah.
Where are we at? Pete
Yes.
Tetley. Hey guys, your videos are my favorites. Always looking forward to watching. I highly recommend Italy and Croatia.
Oh, hey Pete, thank you so much.
Yeah, when we mentioned earlier, we've been to Croatia when we first started filming. We went to Dubrovnik and Croatia, so we'll be back there soon. We kind of want to do like a little cruise or a sailing trip or something there.
Yeah, I really want to go to Split and see the lakes there and all kinds of stuff.
We've mentioned a lot about Italy, but we plan to just spend a lot of time there sometime, ideally next year.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Mr. Dan, again, he says, do you ever need to take a couple hours away from each other? That's a good question, and we get that a lot.
Yeah.
We don't usually feel the need to do it.
I don't think like we have to officially be like, all right, I need to go in here. But I think we definitely have our ways of spending like time with ourselves. Like I do my workouts, and that's like a really good time for me to like be just in my own head and like just on my own. And then cooking are like my kind of like, I guess, like meditation times where I'm just like focused on that. And it's not that I would ever need a break from him. It's just that if you need a break from like the travel and the chaos and the, constantly being on social media and all this stuff, then that's where those are the things that I really enjoy doing, the workouts and cooking. And then with editing, I feel like you're in your own world.
Yeah, and
headphones in.
I watch a lot of YouTube videos on my phone, so I'll just like sit in YouTube videos sometimes.
Yeah, that's like his chill time.
Yeah, to be honest, though, a lot of people ask us if we actually get along this well as it looks on camera, and I would say we 100% do. Yeah. We don't really have that many. I mean, we have arguments there. I'd say maybe once every 6 months we have some argument where we'll get really pissed at each other, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
We try to be really patient and understanding with each other, and if we don't agree on something, we try not to. A lot of people, we've seen other couples when we're traveling, just like at the airport, and like they're in arguments and stuff, and they're always trying to like cut each other down, and they just cut each other down, and that's what we specifically try not to do. We don't insult each other, or call each other names, or do anything like that.
Or to like what we do, you are gonna get really frustrated. Things are gonna go wrong. Like the other day, I mapped us to the wrong airport, and then the next time we traveled, I mapped us to the wrong airport again. So twice in a row to the wrong airport. And this little guy could have been like, "You are so stupid. How can you not figure this out?" I would have agreed.
Because the thing is, you have to have empathy. And for every stupid mistake that she does, I make a stupid mistake. So all I do is, if she did something stupid like that, I just think of the last stupid thing I did, which was probably pretty recent. So if you have that kind of empathy and realize that they're not trying
yeah, like that's I think a good point. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, they're not trying to piss you off, or they're not trying to make a mistake. They're not trying to do anything.
Yeah.
They're just human, just like you. So
yeah, and not everyone's going to live up to your standards, and I think it's some people can't get over that, and that's fine. You work through it however you need to, but I think we've after traveling for so long, we've just definitely adjusted to each other's strengths and weaknesses, and we've learned to just be like, that was frustrating or that was ridiculous, but it's done, it's over, like we're fine, we're gonna move on, and it doesn't need to ruin our day or cause a big argument, I guess.
I think we've learned to just, in the moment, if either of us is getting pissed, we know what the other one's thinking. like she knows that I'm trying not to spoil the day, and I don't want the day to be spoiled, and vice versa. So we're always. I know that she's trying to find the most amicable way to go forward and to not cause stress for the day, and just trying to solve the situation.
Yeah,
she
I
knows
guess
that I'm trying to do the same thing.
we do have to have powwows every now and then where I do it or he does it. And we're just like, all right, let's just stop. Let's take a breather. Like, what's going on? Like, what can we do to make it better? If there's nothing we can do to make it better, then let's just take a moment. We won't film anything. We won't go anywhere. We'll just like process it and like try to calm down and center yourself, and then we can move on.
Yeah, and I don't think that every relationship needs to be like ours, because we travel with a lot of other couples, and they all have their own style
Yeah,
for
exactly.
dealing with hard situations and issues with each other. Some of them argue more, some of them argue less.
Some of them need that time apart. Some of them, like
yeah, some of them schedule the time apart.
Yeah.
And for us, we just don't really do that. Yeah, I don't know. We don't have a need to do it. It's long story short. That was Mr. Dan. Who's next? Joanne?
Yeah.
Maybe you could visit Russia on a cruise. For us in the UK, if you do an organized tour from a cruise ship, the visa is included in the trip. It'd be tied to the cruise line. That's a really good idea, actually.
Yeah, we would love to, but we also want to be able to travel throughout Russia, so that'd be good for dipping our toes into it. But
we found that the cruise thing, we like to spend a lot of time on the ship, because we don't want to just go get a little taste of a town or a city or a country we haven't been to, because usually you just have time to see the tourists and stuff anyway, and you're going to be with hordes of other people from the ship and from the other ships, so it's not that great of a way to experience the culture. So we might hop off like we did in San Juan. We just hopped off and ate some food and took some pictures and went back, and that's the most that we ever expect out of a port city.
Yeah, it is a really fun way, and it's a nice way to do it without having to go through the hassle of like figuring out visa stuff and paying all this money. It is really nice to like get a taste for it, and we'd love to do it. But we also want to be able to, when we're done, like go and really like dig into the cities, I guess.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, thanks for the tip. That might be the way that we have to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Swim Corey says, has your butt gotten better? Also, Allison, where do you get your clothes? Well, that's a good question. A lot of people ask about my tailbone since I busted it in Bali.
This poor little butt.
It still hurts, and I have this like neck pillow that I've traveled with since Bali that I got in Bali, and I lost it just the other day. And it's not like it's gotten, my tailbone has gotten better, but it's when the flight, if it's a flight that's 2 hours or longer, or a bus ride, I'm squirming and moving all over through the whole thing, because if I sit long enough, my tailbone will start to hurt. But it has slowly gotten better over time.
Yeah.
But I think it's gotten as better as it's going to get. And I probably still need to travel with a neck pillow to sit on every once in a while. Or if we're in the car for a long time, it's pretty rough.
Yeah. Good.
Just a big mistake, I should have, when we were in the tube going down that river, I just kept thinking, watch out for your butt, but one stupid mistake. It was like my butt was this far too low in the tube, and it hit that rock. It was like 8 months since then.
Yeah,
whatever.
Nuts.
Paul again, he says, I don't drive, so it's great to be able to travel with you to places that are more off the beaten track, which I probably wouldn't get to do on my own travels. That is good to hear, because that's kind of what we hope, is that if you're not really much of a traveler, at least we can show you these places, or maybe you'll find a place that you want to travel to or whatever. So we're really glad that you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I missed. Sorry. We forgot the clothes question. Sorry.
Yeah.
Swim Corey.
Where do I get my clothes? A lot of different places. I love the Gap a lot for jeans and staples and Old Navy. It's always affordable, at least in the States. I do a lot of, when we're on the road, because I wear through clothes so quickly, H&M and Primark, Bershka, and Pull & Bear. Those are my like go-tos right now.
That's where I go to.
Affordable, and like they're like, the fast fashion, so they always have like trendy-ish stuff, and I don't know.
It's mainly it's cheap.
Yeah.
So we can trade stuff out as we're traveling.
Clothes are always so hard, because I have such a limited wardrobe that it's really hard to think through, like just putting together. I guess they call them like the capsule wardrobes, or like, I don't know, just the
like staple items.
Yeah, it's hard to do, and we like to like do Instagram photos, and it's hard to have like.
Yeah, you don't want the same outfit in all these photos.
It's a nightmare, but that's pretty much where I go to. And then
I think Louise asked one. I get culture shock every time I go to the USA tipping ground.
Oh my God.
Well, we get culture shock when we go back to the USA now because we go back and I'm sitting there and the meal on the menu, it says it's like $10 or something. Then when I get the bill, it's 11 or $11.50 or something. Then I have to tip on top of that.
Yeah,
so I end up
the tax
spending like
and
$13.
tip, yeah.
It's annoying every single time because I'm not a very good tipper. Okay, because
Really bad,
I don't
bad.
understand tipping. So if I have to do it, I'm not just going to not tip them, but I'm not going to give them more than 10%. Okay, because I feel like that's unreasonable. And in the U.S., they expect 20%. If you give them 10%, it's almost like people are insulted, or the people at the table are embarrassed for you if you give 10%. So now I don't even show them. I'm just like, I write
I
it,
always say,
throw it away.
if you want to leave 10%, I'm leaving and you do it.
And I happily
Otherwise-
do it because I'm a stickler for it. I'm just like, I'm giving you 10% for nothing because in England they don't even do this. So why are we doing this? Especially if they're getting paid minimum wage or more. That's the point, right?
Yeah.
Now, I will say, when we were younger, we worked at a restaurant, and Allison made like $2.50. And that wasn't even minimum wage. Minimum wage was $5.40 back then, but they got away with it because they're allowed to
Your
pay.
tips have to make up for that.
Yeah, which I think is a really stupid system, but a lot of places aren't like that. Like bartenders, I think, still make minimum wage or more, usually more. Baristas make more. A lot of servers make
Yeah, the
more.
bartender one is a tricky one because they literally pop a top off a beer and hand it to you.
Yeah, and then you're expected to tip them, and I just
like
find
$1.
that really strange.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's not like I'm trying to be a tightwad. I just don't want to give money for not getting anything,
It's hard.
But you have to adhere to the customs. So when we go
Yeah.
back to the U.S., I still tip, but I'm not going to tip more than 10%. I just think that's unreasonable. But hey, that's just me.
Yeah.
So I already answered this one. Paul says, I enjoy your cruise videos. I'm building up to doing a cruise, but haven't decided quite where yet. I'm using you as a research.
Awesome.
That's what we want to hear.
Hopefully you go on. They're a lot of fun. Spring Grammy
Yeah.
if you get seasick. But
And one thing I will say is that we've done a few different types of cruises now. We've done Mediterranean, Caribbean, and we did that Mediterranean sailing trip with Med Sailors.
yeah, we've done a
And-
few now.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what type of cruise you're wanting to do, but I think that those represent two very, very different styles of cruising. And we probably prefer the Med Sailors type of thing more because it's just, they're hard to compare, but it's more you're chilling and hanging out with a bunch of people. It's a little slower pace, more relaxed.
Yeah, but you have to, it's more of like a find your own adventure or create your own adventure on that.
Yeah, you're not as like
I guess.
handheld like you are. There's no excursions that you set up and stuff. You go on shore and you figure
They
it
do
out.
like organized dinners and stuff like that, but during the day you're just chilling and swimming and relaxing. Although
Yeah.
on cruise ships, I guess you can be as like customized or just laid back as you want. You can have stuff to do all day, every day. Shows booked, dinners booked, like
Yeah.
classes.
And that's totally fine if that's, because a lot of people, that's why you go to a cruise ship, but
Mhm.
it just depends on what you're wanting. Sometimes that's fun. We don't really do the shows and stuff like that much because we like to just be on the ship and go to
Yeah.
shore and just swim and just
I
skip
feel
around.
like the shows, it's just we're typically always trying to film something and we just can't make
Yeah,
it work.
and you can't film a show anyway, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely check out Med Sailors or check out those videos if you want to see a more low-key sailing trip. I personally thought that was a lot more fun than the cruise ship, so I think we're going to do
Yeah.
that again sometime soon. Mark Tony again, he says, I think a TV show would be perfect for you both. It would be top ratings every time. Well, we really appreciate
Thank
that.
you. I don't know about that, but
Yeah, a lot of people ask if we want to do a TV show, or we've had, a few people email us and just inquiring about if we'd want to do something like that. And I don't.
I think it'd be too much pressure.
Yeah, it's
Have,
just not
like, a
really.
team? I don't know.
We had a discussion about it once, and we came to the conclusion that that's not why we decided to do this. We never wanted to be on TV. That's why we're doing YouTube. I don't really feel like TV is the future of media. I feel like sites like YouTube are the future of media. So I'd rather invest in that. And not only that, I have complete control over what I do.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
will say though that having like a team to like research stuff and to like make reservations or set up your itinerary, that would be very nice.
That
Just
would
saying
be-
like be here and we'll take care of it. 'Cause,
And having someone film you would be nice because it's so hard to be the host and the cinematographer.
and some of the editing. Okay,
It's
so
very
maybe
difficult.
a TV show would
But-
be kind of cool, but
But to be honest, that's never what we set out to do.
Yeah.
So part of the fun is filming it ourselves in that rough style of just figuring it out as we go. So I'm not personally that interested in a TV show, unless obviously it was the style that we do right now and they just put it on TV.
yeah.
But who knows? Sounds like a lot of pressure to have a whole production crew on you. Oh, sorry, we're over an hour. Okay, we're going to answer the rest of these here, and then we're going to hop off here. Paul says, I agree with you about tipping. Tips need to be earned. Amen, brother.
Netflix recommendations.
Well, Santa Clarita Diet.
Oh my
if you
God,
haven't
that's
seen
my
that, there are 2
favorite.
seasons on Netflix, I think. Check
Yeah.
that out. What else on Netflix? BoJack Horseman, if you like cartoons that are very
It's-
serious and dark.
It's very dark, actually.
Speaking of cartoons, I'll tell you one. Big Mouth. Big Mouth on Netflix. If you're into like a dark, dirty
Yeah,
humor,
I don't know. I feel like that's exposing too much. It might be.
it just depends on what you're into. It's a very, very, very intelligent and funny show, but it's about all these kids that are cartoons that are going through puberty. So the whole thing is very graphic, but just so relatable and funny that watch an
it's
episode,
pretty
and if you don't like it, then it's not your
But
style. But if you like it, you're
Cynically
welcome.
Rated Diet is definitely more like. Oh, and we just watched The Haunting of Hill House. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
that
like
one,
scary
ooh, man.
TV shows, it's better than like a American Horror Story.
Oh, way better.
Yeah, we
It
got really
was-
into that one.
We watched that so fast. It was so good. The Sinner, is that on
The
Netflix?
Sinner, yeah, the first
These are all
season
dark
is on
ones.
Netflix. But definitely check those shows out.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I just saw your video when you got your ID driver's license in Texas. Why did you pick Texas over Missouri? Well, there's no state income tax in Texas. That's a big reason.
Also, we figured if we ever were going to end up somewhere, it'd probably be in Texas. So if we're already Texas residents and we ended up getting a place, it'd just be really easy we could keep our IDs. We wouldn't have to change too much.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
that was about it. I agree with I agree about control of your projects. I'm the same with my podcast. Keep doing what you do the way you want to do it. Yeah, and it just depends on what you're into. Like our friend, we were just talking how our friend TJ, we just made a video with her. Her channel's Cup of TJ.
Mhm.
She really wants to go be more of a TV host, and that's how she produces her videos on YouTube. And that's totally fine because that's the style she wants to do. But it was just never really the style we wanted to do. So I think everyone just kind of has to figure out how they want to do it, and this is just what's been working for us and what we enjoy doing. Gregory says, in America, typically wait staff make much, much, much less than minimum wage. They primarily live off their tips, unlike the rest of the world where service is factored into the prices. Now, I would agree with that, but I would say that a lot of places aren't like that. For example, when Allison was a server, that was very true. She made less than minimum wage. And I think that's kind of a cheeky thing they're trying to do. They're trying to get away with not having to pay their employees wages. So me personally, I'm not a huge fan of it. But there are a lot of places where they do make minimum wage or more than minimum wage. And it's annoying as a consumer not knowing, because if they're making minimum wage or more, I don't think tipping makes sense. Now, if they're making less than it, sure, I'll tip them, and I might tip them more, but I don't think that the system should be like that, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think it's
minimum
unfortunate
wages,
that it's
minimum
set up
wage
like
is there
that.
for a reason. They shouldn't be able to get away with paying less than minimum wage and let the consumer try to, fill in the gap. That seems strange to me.
Yeah.
But like I said, to each their own, and that's where I stand on it.
Please, thanks for taking your time. It's been fun. Yeah, thanks you guys. This was fun. It went pretty well. We didn't say anything too stupid, I think, so that's good.
Yeah, that was a whole hour. Dang,
minimal
geez.
cursing. I think we did it.
Yeah,
all
I
right.
finished all my whiskey, so it's time for another.
Yeah.
But yeah, to wrap it up, you guys, thank you so much for supporting us. We really appreciate it. It blows our mind that anyone thinks that the content we make is worth paying for.
But we love it, so we're so glad that people find value in it, and we really try. We've been trying to get better and better, do more cool stuff,
Yeah,
go
and
to new places.
we're gonna have some Turkey videos coming up. Actually, I'm posting one right after this, but it's just a travel day to Turkey. But then we're gonna have some really cool. We're really proud of the content that we created there. I think it's gonna be a lot
we
of
had
fun.
so much fun there.
Yeah, we really enjoyed that country.
Yeah, I feel like this whole trip since we went and took a little vacation in the States and now we're back on the road it's just been a lot of fun. We've been going to a lot of cool places, a lot of exciting stuff. So we can't wait to share it all with you.
Yes, that's it. Thanks for all the questions. Hope